Imagine vast, sprawling metropolises, gleaming skyscrapers piercing the clouds, intricate networks of roads, sprawling public parks, and thousands upon thousands of brand-new apartment buildings, all ready for millions of people to move in. There's just one problem. Nobody's there. These are the ghost cities of China, cities built for millions, but inhabited by almost no one. Is this a failed economic dream? A monumental miscalculation? Or are they preparing for something we don't know yet? Let's unravel the mystery. Welcome, everyone. Today, we're journeying into some of the most surreal landscapes on Earth. China's modern-day ghost towns, places like Ordos-Kambashi, a city designed for 1 million residents, where 4 years you could walk 4 miles without seeing another soul. Or the Yujapu Financial District, modeled after Manhattan, complete with its own Rockefeller and Lincoln centers, yet eerily silent. So, what's going on here? The most common explanation points to China's unique economic model. For the past few decades, China's economy has been growing at a breakneck pace, and a huge part of that growth has been fueled by construction and real estate investment. Local governments, in a bid to hit GDP targets and create jobs, have borrowed massive amounts of money to fund these colossal urban development projects. Think of it like this. Building a new city is a surefire way to boost economic numbers. It requires steel, concrete, labor, and massive investment, all of which contribute to the GDP. The plan was simple. Build it, and they will come. The government believed that as China's population continued to urbanize, people would flock from rural areas to these new, modern CTEs filling the empty apartments and streets. This strategy is deeply rooted in China's long-term urbanization plan. The goal is to move hundreds of millions of people from the countryside into cities over the next couple of decades. From that perspective, these cities aren't failures. They're just early. They are built in anticipation of a future population that hasn't arrived yet. It's a massive, long-term gamble. The government is essentially building the infrastructure for the next generation, hoping to avoid the overcrowding and chaos seen in older, more established megacities like Beijing and Shanghai. But there's a catch, and it's a big one. These new apartments are often incredibly expensive. While they are built for the masses, the prices are frequently out of reach for the average rural migrant or even middle-class families. This has created a strange paradox. Millions of empty, high-end apartments, while millions of people are still looking for affordable housing. Furthermore, many of these apartments aren't even meant to be lived in. They're investment vehicles. In a country where the stock market can be volatile and there are strict controls on moving money overseas, real estate has long been seen as the safest and most reliable investment. So, many wealthy Chinese buy multiple properties, not to live in or rent out, but simply to park their money, betting that the value will continue to rise. This speculation drives prices up even further, pushing homeownership out of reach for ordinary people and leaving entire city blocks dark at night. This has led to what economists call a massive real estate bubble. The fear is that if this bubble were to burst, it could have catastrophic consequences not just for China, but for the global economy. We've already seen some cracks appear with major developers like Evergrande facing colossal debt crises, sending shockwaves through the financial system. The sight of these empty cities is a physical manifestation of that risk. Billions, if not trillions, of dollars tied up in concrete and steel that isn't generating any real economic activity. However, the story isn't entirely one of doom and gloom. It's important to remember that China operates on a different timescale than many Western countries. Some of these cities are slowly, very slowly, coming to life. Take Ordos-Kambashi. For example, for a long time, it was the poster child for ghost cities. But over the last decade, the population has grown from a few thousand to over 100,000. Schools are opening, businesses are moving in, and the streets are no longer completely deserted. It's not the bustling metropolis it was designed to be, but it's no longer a ghost town either. The government is also actively trying to solve the problem. They're implementing policies to curb property speculation, offering subsidies to attract residents and businesses, and rerouting people and industries to these new areas. For instance, some new districts have successfully attracted major universities or corporate headquarters, which in turn brings in a population of students, faculty, and employees who need places to live, eat, and shop. This brings us to another fascinating theory. Are these cities part of a larger, strategic geopolitical plan? Some analysts suggest that these cities, often built in strategically important but sparsely populated regions, could serve as future logistical hubs or even military bases. By developing the infrastructure in these remote areas, China is strengthening its control and presence across its vast territory. They're building for a future where these regions are much more integrated and important. Think about the Belt and Road Initiative, China's ambitious global infrastructure project. Many of these new cities lie along key economic corridors. They could become vital nodes in a new network of global trade, connecting China to Central Asia, Europe, and beyond. In T-Slite, the empty streets aren't a sign of failure, but a sign of patient, long-term strategic planning. They are placeholders for a future that China is actively trying to build. So, when we look at these surreal images of empty skyscrapers and vacant boulevards, we're not just looking at an economic anomaly. We're looking at a complex story with multiple layers. It's a story of unprecedented economic ambition, a high-stakes gamble on future urbanization, and the unintended consequences of using real estate as a primary tool for growth. It's a story of speculative fever, where apartments are treated like stock certificates. And it might also be a story of shrewd, long-term strategic planning for a future we can only begin to imagine. Are these ghost cities a ticking time bomb threatening to derail the world's second-largest economy? Or are they simply the seeds of future megacities, waiting for their time to blossom? The truth is, it's probably a bit of both. The next decade will be crucial. We'll see if China's great urban gamble pays off, or if these silent cities remain as haunting monuments to an ambition that flew too close to the sun. The world is watching, because the fate of these cities will tell us a lot about the future of China, and in turn, the future of us all. What do you think? Is this a sustainable model for development, or a disaster waiting to happen? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. And if you found this journey into China's ghost cities interesting, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the fascinating stories shaping our world. See you next time.